There is about to be an absolutely incredible new electric car launch on the Australian car market this year. I believe it's coming not only to Australia and New Zealand, but also to countries like Germany, France, and others in Europe. And it's incredible. If the claims from this company are true, then it has well over 1.5 million kilometers of range from its battery in terms of its lifetime use, and it is the most aerodynamic car ever manufactured. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Big thank you to our Patreon supporters. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Fantastic to have you. And also thank you to our YouTube members. If you want to see our videos in advance, you can join our YouTube members page. I'll put a link in the description below. Aion, the all-electric car of China's GAC, or the Guangzhou Automobile Corporation, are going to bring the Hyper GT to Australia and I believe New Zealand this year as a rival to the Tesla Model 3. In December of 2022, GAC sold over 30,000 electric cars, making it one of the biggest electric car manufacturers in the world. In fact, the year before that, the month before that, they sold nearly 30,000. The month before that, they sold nearly 31,000, 30,000 the month before that. This actually is one of the biggest electric car manufacturers in the world, period. That said, their sales in February collapsed. They've begun offering big discounts now as a result. Now, after seeing their sales drop 66% in February, probably part as a result of Tesla's discounts on its Model 3, GAC have begun giving big incentives. What will they price the car at in Australia, in New Zealand, in Europe? Well, no one knows. But in China, it actually still does cost more than a Model 3. And it is bigger. Plus, it has some incredible features, including possibly one of the world's most advanced battery packs with insane charging speed. I believe that this is actually the fastest charging electric car in the world that you can buy right now. GAC told Australian media that it will launch its new Hyper GT this year, more than likely around the end of the year. Before then, it's going to exhibit its Y and its V SUV models. In other words, we're going to get more EVs, more SUVs, more mid-sized crossovers, and electric sedans here in Australia from China by the end of the year. And this is a brand that I don't think anyone's really ever heard of, but they do make some incredibly impressive cars. This is one of them. Aion has released specifications and interior images of the Hyper GT, its four-door electric sedan. It's got scissor doors like the Tesla Model X. And it will use a 900-volt electrical architecture, which makes it capable of charging at speeds of 480 kilowatt. 480 kilowatt. I mean, that's nearly double the maximum speed you can get in a Tesla. That's ludicrous. That's incredible. Absolutely spectacular. In theory, you could charge this car in about 10 minutes, but only using Tesla's new version 4 supercharger network. Isn't that the irony here? Cars like this, the only way you'll be able to actually charge them at that kind of speed is simply by using Tesla's new version 4 chargers. If you haven't heard of the version 4 chargers, I'll put a link in the description below to those new chargers. Range will be between 500 and 600 kilometers, and Aion has unveiled its next generation super energy lithium-ion battery using microcrystalline technology, which they say will have a battery life of well over 1.5 million kilometers. That's a long way. That's actually pretty incredible. Aion is expected to launch the Hyper GT with a single motor rear-wheel drive, making 250 kilowatt and 400 newton meters of torque, pretty similar power figures to the Tesla Model 3 base standard range variant. And that's around about 350 horsepower. That'll give it the ability to sprint from 0 to 100 in, they say, less than 5 seconds. However, a more powerful dual motor version will also come, which will be a direct rival to the Tesla Model 3 performance. Now, speaking of the Tesla Model 3 being a direct competitor, while this is a bigger car, GAC have been benchmarking the Tesla Model 3, and they're going to use a combination of HD cameras, says Car Expert, LiDAR, radar, and infrared technology to improve the accuracy of the car's autonomous driving technology. How good it's going to be, no one knows, but it's going to have a whole lot of next generation, brand new sensors, which should make it actually work very well. Now, here's what I find hard to believe. I'm not sure I believe this part of the story. There's a lot of incredible parts to this car, but this part I'm not so sure on. Aion claim it has an aerodynamic drag coefficient, making it the most aerodynamic electric car in the world of 0.19, which is even better than Mercedes-Benz EQS's 0.20. It's one of the slipperiest cars, possibly the slipperiest production car ever made, according to the company. So you can either believe that or not believe it. I'm not really sure, and it's really hard to prove whether or not that's actually true. One of my favorite things about this car, though, is when you look at these images, you've got to say the interior, it looks amazing. Really sleek, really beautifully minimalist, but not too minimalist. Looks gorgeous. The photographs show a clean, luxurious cabin with slightly more going on than the current Model 3. The reason I say that is because it does have a digital screen directly in front of the driver, which I think is a good feature. The steering wheel actually looks a lot like the Tesla Cybertruck steering wheel that we just saw in the latest pre-production version of the Cybertruck, and I love the look of the steering wheel as well. Even the front seats look gorgeous. They're like sort of semi-bucket seats, but they're very thin looking. Whoever's designed the interior and even the exterior of this car, they've done a fantastic job. The car gets a 23 speaker sound system to make some beautiful noise apparently while you're driving in peace and quiet. That's one of the great things about EVs, isn't it? The fact that you don't have that engine noise. A lot of people think, oh, engine noise, I hardly ever hear it. But trust me, when you drive an EV, you realize the difference between a gasoline car and an electric car. They are definitely much quieter. In China, the Hyper GT is priced from around 43,000 US dollars. It's around 58,000 Australian dollars, and it tops out at 68,000 Australian dollars, or around about 50,000 US dollars. It's actually priced very, very well for what you get in terms of the specifications. Although that said, I haven't seen any tests of the charging speed. Can it really charge at 480 kilowatt? I haven't seen whether or not the car is actually as slippery through the wind as what Aion claim. I haven't seen whether or not the battery will last for this long. Nobody really knows. But I do know this. This is going to be a compelling car. It's definitely a car worth considering, although you would be taking quite a risk in buying one of these new. I mean, no one's really heard of this brand outside of China. However, for those who are willing to take the risk, it could be worthwhile. It's a gorgeous car on the inside and the outside. And personally, I would much rather this than any BMW or Audi electric car you can buy right now. I know they make some good cars, but in my opinion, the technology in this is definitely superior. Is it superior to, say, a Tesla Model S or a Model 3? I'm not sure. In some ways, yes. In some ways, no. However, the Model S and the Model 3 are, of course, proven commodities. You know what you're getting. They've been tested, they've been thrashed, they've been driven for years, and yeah, they're good cars. But this is going to be a very interesting car, a very interesting entrant to the market. It'll give everyone more choice, more options. But what's even more important is this car company actually make very, very affordable small electric cars, which I think they're going to bring as well. Hopefully they do. Very likely they won't just be bringing this sedan. They'll also be bringing the Y crossover, which is also a similar size to the Tesla Model Y from what I'm hearing. Let me know your thoughts on this car. Would you consider one at these prices? Let's say the price was just a little bit more than a Tesla Model 3. Would this be a car that you would consider? Thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.